Hi friends, we're in podcast mode. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm speaking into this new mic. Okay, so this video doesn't have fully formed thoughts. I just feel a deep need to film right now. So it's just coming from the mind. Basically, my dear friend Esther is staying with me this week. Esther is one of my best friends from university. She's from Taiwan. I made a lovely video that she features in if you want to go watch it. And I feel like she knows me pretty well. We were lucky enough to live together in Buenos Aires semester, so I lived with her for 4 months in an apartment. She has seen me navigate love life struggles, identity struggles, millions of assignment deadlines, juggling this YouTube channel. She's seen me in a lot of difficult scenarios, watching us, moving to different places around the world, learning how to live in a new culture, navigate different languages, like all of these things she has witnessed in me. But due to the nature of our university, she had never been to my family home. She had never seen me in the way that I had grown up. Tonight's her last night, and so we were sitting on the sofa together, cuddling my dog Willow, and she just turned to me and she said, "I feel like I see you very differently here to how I saw you in Minerva." And I was like, "What do you mean? I feel like I'm the same person." And she said, "Here, it always feels like you're the oldest person in the room. It always feels like people rely on you, like you're the capable one, you're the adult." No one has ever said this to me before. I've obviously had friends come to my house and meet my family and all this stuff, but no one has ever expressed that. I mean, growing up, I always got comments like, "You're so mature for your age. You're an old soul. You just know how to carry responsibility. Like, you're just like, I don't know, trustworthy," all of these things. I just take it as a compliment. I'd be like, "Oh, thanks, that's really kind." But her comment really got me thinking. It scratched a little itch of a lot of things that I've been thinking about on my subconscious, and they're related to daughterhood, and in particular eldest daughterhood, and kind of the pressure and expectations that come with that role that I think exist for a lot of daughters. And so I just feel the need to talk about that today. And maybe my experience is unique, maybe other people don't experience this, but I just feel like I don't see it voiced. And so yeah, here we are, we're discussing it. Today we're talking the expectations of being a daughter in my eyes, how this manifests into certain personality traits later in life, how I see this in myself, and how I'm trying to remedy that, / why I think these traits can be unideal at times or exhausting at times. Okay, so in my eyes, one of the pressures, the expectations of being a good daughter is making everyone in the family feel seen and heard. I feel like that is such an active job. That's something that I guess I've always done growing up, that I have never self-reflected on how much work that takes to make people feel seen. Like, I've just kind of always done it, right? Like, there are all these members of the family and you feel like you've got to manage their emotions, you've got to understand, you've got to be a good listener, an active listener, and you learn from a very young age to have empathy, to listen when family members are struggling. In particular, I feel that it's the role of the daughter to be your mother's confidant, or to be a person that your mother can confide in and entrust with all the many things that burden women day to day, I feel very fortunate that I have a very close relationship with my mother, and I just adore her, and she's shaped me in so many wonderful ways. But something that we have discussed is how, I feel like a lot of multi-generational trauma that families carry often gets carried by the women of the family, and often gets transported to the daughters, because the daughters are the ones that are noticing the struggles of their mothers, or trying to alleviate these struggles, or listening to their mothers and how their mothers are being burdened, and taking that burden onto their shoulders. From a very young age, you're not doing it consciously, you're just mother, please, I want to make you feel better. Please, like, offload onto me and I will carry that weight. And this can translate a lot into becoming a mediator for the family, right? Like, if you are really aware of how everyone is feeling, how situations can have tension, it's just, I don't know, as like a daughter, you're just like, okay, I'm going to come in here and like, I understand your emotional needs. I understand your emotional needs. I understand your emotional needs. I'm gonna try and diffuse. I'm gonna peacemake. I understand them. I understand you. But, you know, let's try and get everyone to understand each other. And I've spoken to other friends who are eldest daughters who have a lot of siblings as well. And like, they're always the one who have to create the peace because they're like a second mother to their siblings, or, you know, always trying to help their parents' relationship if there's tension there. Like, you're just always the person somehow stuck in the middle, like trying to diffuse and make things better. And you think that that's making things more relaxing for yourself because you're keeping the peace. But in reality, there's so much work that goes into creating that peace that the burden then also falls onto you. So it's not really peace for you, but it's attempted peace for everyone else. And then in the role of being a mediator, you basically sacrifice some of your own emotional needs, right? It's like, okay, I'm not going to throw my emotions into this mix, this spicy little mix of everything that's going on in the family. I'm just going to keep that to myself. I'm going to deal with that myself because, like, there's so much going on. I'm just not going to add to it and they're not going to help me. Like, I will help myself. I feel like I'm a hyper independent person and hyper independent emotionally because, yeah, I've just learnt not to want to, like, burden the close people in my life with my emotions. And I think that really stems from like carrying the emotions of those around me. But yes, this is not always a good trait. I'm going to talk about that later. But I think that is such a common trait in like eldest daughters. Is like, I don't know, this not wanting to be helped, being like, I will deal with my emotions myself because you don't want to burden others with it. And then I'm so intrigued what you think about this. But I feel like there is so much pressure on daughters, on the girl, to be perfect. It's just like the classic thing, right? As a woman in society, like, you've got to be perfect, girl. Like, as the oldest, okay, already you've got to be like the guinea pig. You've got to experiment everything for yourself. You've got to figure it all out for yourself. But you've also got to be the trailblazer, you know, the carrier of all your parents' hopes and dreams for what their children can be. Like, you know, whether it's wanting them to be like a doctor or be super successful, like you're carrying all of that, but you also got to do it in a way which is perfect. Like, you've got to look really gorgeous and cute and pretty and like be your like perfect gorgeous daughter self that can be presented as innocent and wonderful but then also super successful and like, yeah, achieving hopes and dreams for your parents' sake. And though of course boys have a lot of pressure to like succeed too, I do think the pressure to be perfect is something that falls on daughters much more, because boys stereotypically are allowed to be messy, they're allowed to break things, they're allowed to be boisterous, they can be sloppy, they can get things done later if they want to, whereas girls have got to be like on time and punctual and, yeah, perfect. I think this is why so many girls in school are the ones who are the high achievers, like striving. Like, I think they did a survey, I'm pretty sure I saw something like girls are more likely to get A stars in like GCSE and A level, they're more likely to be academic and push themselves because of this just desire to be perfect and to have like validation from grades. And, you know, just women are so good at controlling themselves and controlling their lives because we're so used to having everyone want us to control ourselves. I don't know how to describe it. And then of course there's this expectation to be a caregiver, give care and give love without expecting any return. Be selfless, be a good daughter, look after your sibling, help them out, look after your parents, help them around the house, do all the things, all the little things. And something I think is so interesting under capitalism as a system is that care is one of the most undervalued resources or skills. We don't pay for emotional labor. We don't pay for care work. We don't pay very well for that. And anything we don't pay for, society doesn't value as much, because this is capitalism. Like, we value our investment bankers more than our nurses and our mothers. And so the fact that this undervalued skill of care is generally expected of daughters, of women, is also a way of like subordinating women a bit. It's like you need to pour all this energy into making all the people in your life feel amazing, but we're not going to value that. Like, it's essential for everyone around you keeping running and like doing amazingly and feeling happy and healthy, but we're not going to make you feel like that's a worthy skill and that's something that we can put a price on. And I think the expectations we have of daughters in the home translates to our expectations of women in general life and in the workplace, to like, be perfect, to care for everyone, to be sweet and kind and generous. But maybe, we don't need to pay them as much. We don't need to listen to them as much, because, the baseline is for them to already be doing those things. Whereas for men, that's not the baseline. They're like celebrated if they're doing those things. Wow, this is turning into like a feminist speech. I'm kind of here for it though. I'm kind of fine with it. Okay, so those are some traits that I think daughterhood expects of you, demands of you a little bit. Depends on the family. Obviously, it's different for everyone. But I think if those are true for you, I think this easily manifests into high achievers at school. I think a lot of eldest daughters are like the classic hustler, achiever, seek my validation in grades, want to be perfect kind of person. Also because it perpetuates this idea of like capability, right? Like the idea of your own capability, the idea of your own perfection. It's just lovely. Like we want more of that. Then this wonderful hyperindependence. Ooh, in theory, it sounds great, right? Like, what an amazing ability to not have to always rely on other people to solve our emotional problems. Like, we can solve it ourselves. Like, how great is that? Like, oh, I'm feeling so sad. Brilliant. I'll lock myself up in my room and deal with that alone. Like, no one needs to see the mess of that. Sounds great. In reality, I think it's very dangerous for fostering close, vulnerable relationships, because like in the past I have had so many issues letting people get really close to me, or being super like honest and candid with my emotions as they're happening in real time, because I've just learned to sort them out myself. And so yeah, I think there's this whole process that you have to go through in like letting people also care for you, and realizing the strength in your own softness, and realizing that it is also a skill in itself to let yourself dissolve into your emotions and whatever you're feeling, and to not have to hide them and pretend. Also, this wasn't the case for me as much, but I do think there's a high trend in the expectations of daughterhood and like the controlling nature that high achievers and like people who need to like sort everything out have, and things like eating disorders or any kind of restrictive lifestyle, because these behaviors that offer you a sense of control feel so comforting, feel so safe, because it's like you can manage this part of your life and feel like, yeah, like you have control, that you're like so capable over it. It's like not enough girls know how to not seek this sense of control. Like, more women should just feel at peace and be able to like relax into their lives, but that's very hard to do when like, there's just always expectations of like how to be and how to look and how to act. Controlling our lives makes us feel safe and desirable, and like we're working towards those crazy expectations of society. Also, more than anything, oh bloody hell, I think this whole like being a mediator, understanding everyone's emotions, blah, 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 that translates to massive people pleasing in life, because for you, safety and receiving love and validation is at the expense of catering to the needs of others. And so in life, it's like, I see this so in myself. I have this ability to understand very quickly from someone like how they're feeling, or like what they need or what they like, and then I tailor myself in a way that makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel safe. And that's just, a pattern that I've learned. And it's then very hard when you have opinions that go against a group, or when you want to live a lifestyle against a group, to allow yourself not to please these people and to live like authentically. And finally, in companies and just generally in life, like women are told not to take up as much space, to like be rewarded for their humility and their kindness and compassion and sweetness and love. And those qualities are so admirable and so important to an incredible society, but they also are just undervalued and often taken advantage of. So yeah, daughters who are able to take up space will become women who can take up space and do incredible things in the world and workplace if you're reminded of your own value. Okay, so what do I want for all my eldest daughters out there, and indirectly for myself? Because, basically making this video as like a self-serving video essay. I want all eldest daughters to find a partner or to find friends who allow them to access their inner child, to make them feel like they can be free, so that you can be free, right? It feels like you don't have to control everything. You don't have to take care of everything. You don't have to be worrying about everything, because whoever you're around is actually helping to remove some of that burden, to take off the weight that you need to be and do everything, and instead lets you just sink into your existence and relax. I want daughters to learn emotional boundaries with their families, friends, all people in life, to learn that they don't always need to mediate and people please in every situation. And also to see this ability of like being a mediator or people pleaser as a skill, but not a personality or like a whole facet of who you are, to see it with a growth mindset, to be like, this is a wonderful skill that I can use if I need to. Like, for example, at a networking event, what an amazing skill to quickly understand someone and speak to them in a way that you connect with them. Or equally, if a friend really needs you, you know how to create a safe space for them where they feel heard and you can deeply listen, but at the same time understanding that this is not a way that you need to be in all elements of your life. Like, you can take up space, you can be authentically yourself, you can disagree with people, you can have opinions, and all of that is like worthy and special and amazing, and a skill you've got to cultivate. For all daughters, for all women, I want radical authenticity. I want radical rest. I want the feeling of raw freedom, whatever that looks like or feels like for you. I want you to allow yourself to be messy and chaotic, and to not have it all figured out, and to not be perfect, and to not, have every single part of your 50-year life plan mapped out in a Notion page. Do I have that? Maybe. And finally, I want you to not carry the weight and burdens of your family. And I know that this is a hard one, because we love our families and we want them to live their best lives possible, and we want to care for them, and that comes from such a place of like true love. But yeah, it's something that I'm still learning, is like how to do that, how to be really loving and giving and selfless, because I think selflessness and egolessness is such a desirable and beautiful quality that this world needs more, especially in individualistic cultures like the West. But to be able to do that service with still so much intentionality of serving yourself first. Yeah. I love being a daughter. I love how deeply I care for my family and then for all other people in the world. Like, I don't know, I love it. I feel like I have learnt so much empathy from this role. I also hope this video doesn't come across as me having like a really like bad family. Like, I don't at all. I have the most wonderful family. I feel grateful every single day for the universe dropping me into this exact life, and creating me as I am because of the way that they are. But I am also learning how to grow into a fully fledged woman, independent of being a daughter of my family, and that my worth does not need to be defined in my achievements and my doings, but merely in my existing. Okay. Ramble over. I just really felt the desire to talk. Yeah. I'm gonna go call Esther in. Such a good friend. She's just like waiting in the corridor because I'm like, I need to talk to a camera. So find yourself good friends like that who ask you the right questions and are observant. I'm sending you all so much love. Yeah, I just appreciate you lots. And also, since my I'm quitting study tube video, I just love the freedom. I feel so much more freedom in my mind to just make scattered videos like this and to just chat. So if you like this, please do let me know. If you resonate, let me know. How powerful to have like a community of powerful eldest daughters reclaiming the expectations put on us. Have a gorgeous day, guys. Bye.